Hi everyone, today I'm making little Christmas tree decorations, and they are in fact little tiny Christmas trees. I'll just zoom in there, hopefully you can see them. One of them I've decorated with little baubles, and one of them I've left plain, and the other one is a smaller version. So there's a bit of variety on what you can do, and they're really quick and easy to make. So I'll show you how they're done. They're worked in a continuous round, all in one piece. The only sewing is sewing in the ends of the thread, and if you do want to put on the little baubles, they do need just sewing on the back as well. I don't stuff them, they come quite firm, and you can either have them as a decoration with this little hanger at the top, or you could leave that off and just have them like that as a little table decoration. It's really easy to make, and to begin with we just make 25 chain. Now if you want a bigger tree, just use a bigger hook and thicker yarn. If you want a smaller tree, use thinner yarn and a smaller hook. I'm using 4-ply here and a 3.5mm hook. Now the first row at the beginning is the trickiest bit, and after this it's absolutely simple. Now in the second chain from the hook, just do a slip stitch. So simply slip into there. And then in the next chain I'm going to do a double crochet. Now if you're in the US, that's a single crochet. In the next one I'm going to do a half treble, which I think in the US is a half double crochet. And then in the next one and the subsequent ones I'm going to do a treble, which in the US is a double crochet. And that's just giving a little bit of a slope here. So it's slip stitch, double crochet, half treble and treble, or if you're in the US, slip stitch, single crochet, half a double crochet and a double crochet. I think that's right. And then in all the rest of the chains I'm just simply going to do a treble. I'm going to go all the way across, and then after that we're going to work in rounds, just working round and round, and I shall explain when I get to the end what that little sloping bit at the start is for. So I'll just do this and then I shall come back and show you the next part. So there we go, I've worked all the way across, almost to the end. I've not done the last stitch yet because I'm going to use that to join it. And there you can see that little sloping part that we did at the beginning. Now as we finish the last stitch, just get ready to work the last one, so you yarn over, but bring that round. I'm just going to work the stitch through both, so it's gone through the last stitch and then into that slip stitch. Pull it through both, and then just finish the stitch as normal, so that you're really doing the bottom of it through both stitches just to join it round. And then we're going to do a treble into the back loops only now. So where you would normally go like that through 2, we're just going to go through that one, the back one, like that in each of the stitches. So we've done the slip stitch, so now the double crochet, working a treble, then into the half treble, and then into all the trebles around, just working all the time only into those back loops. You don't need to mark the start of the round or anything, because we're just going to go now round and round and round. So as you can see there, where we did that first little sloping bit, it's now making this line where we're working into the back loops. It's leaving the front loops open, and they are going to spiral up the tree, and then we're going to add the decoration on top of those spirals, if you can see them there. We'll do that later, and it gives it that nice spiral effect. So just carry on round, just doing one treble double crochet if you're in the US, just one treble in each stitch until you do come back round to where you started, and then we're going to begin decreasing, ready for the next, for the shaping. So I'll finish that, and when I get back round here where the thread is, then I shall tell you the next part. So there we go, I'm back round there to where we started in that thread, and now we're going to do 3 stitches and then work 2 together, and we're going to do that all the time, just going continuously round. We don't have to remember to stop here now, it's just continuously 3 stitches in the back loops, still always in the back loops. So 3 and then work 2 together. And 3 again. And then work 2 together, and just carry on doing that round and round until you get to a point where you can't get your finger in and you can't really go any further, and at that point we'll just slip stitch into the top, and that will finish off the top of the tree. But I shall show you that as I come to it. So I shall do these rounds and then I'll be back. So as I say, I've come round and round, and you get to the point where you can't very easily get your finger in the top, even though you can still see some stitches. So it's just a matter really of going into the last one and just finishing it off, and finishing off the yarn. And when you sew that in, you can just catch the top to seal it off. If you see that there. And if I pop my finger inside, you can see really that it's really tight, and when I sew that in, if I just take that inside there, it will finish it off quite neatly. So I've just threaded a needle, and I will just take it down on the opposite side, just through that top stitch, take it through to the other side, and once you pull it through with the right side inwards, you just fasten it off on the inside so that it's out of the way. And as you can see there, I've got the top to the tree, and I shall do the same with this bottom one. You can take your time weaving it in neatly. I shall just do it quickly to get it out of the way, so we can carry on, and just to show you what I mean. So just pop that on the other side and then trim it off when you've finished. Now you might think that it looks a little bit too floppy to be a tree, and it doesn't look great, I must admit now. But once you've added the decoration, it gives it a real firmness, and as you can see, it stands up lovely, and it looks so different just by adding that little bit of decoration around it. So we'll do that next, and we're going to add that into these front loops. So to add the decoration, we just need to work into these loops with the front loops of that was left from the stitches where you work the back loops. If you just fold it gently, it makes like a natural fold, and all these loops will come onto the top, and it just makes it that little bit easier to work into. So go into the first one just getting under that stitch. I think I've split it now. Just a minute. There. It's under that first one, and just bring your yarn through. It's a little bit fiddly to get started, but once you go in, it's really easy. So holding that yarn steady, you can anchor it or sew it in now if you want at the back just to hold it, or you can do it like this. So under the next stitch, pull your yarn through and then through the loop, then into the next one, pull the yarn through and through the loop. So you're doing a chain stitch, really, a surface chain along the top of all those front loops. And you soon get into quite a rhythm as you go along. As I say, if you just fold it down, it does make it a little bit easier because they all pop up to the top. There you can see how it's put onto the top of the loops. So this little end just needs sewing in on the wrong side, and we'll just carry on doing that all along all these loops all the way round until we end up here at the top. And when I get that far, I shall come back and show you how to just finish it off. So there you go, I'm at the top of the tree now, and I shall just finish it off by doing quite a few chains, and it depends how big your tree branches are, if you're going to put it on as a Christmas tree decoration, or whether you've got those little hooks, or whether you just want it as a standing ornament, in which case you wouldn't bother with this part, but just do a few chains and then slip into the top there, pull the yarn through to anchor it, and then just back again at the top of there to make a loop. As I say, you can do that as big or as small as you like, just to make that little hanger there, like that. And then simply pull your yarn through, fasten it off, and sew it on the wrong side. So there's your little loop. Perhaps ought to have been a little bit bigger actually, but you get the idea. And if you don't want to put it as a tree decoration, just sew that in and take it through to the wrong side so that it finishes at the top, if you just want it as a standing decoration. Now you can either leave it like that, obviously fastening all these loose ends, or if you wish you can add some little baubles. Now the easiest way to do those is with just a little bit of yarn, and just do a few chains, we'll say 4, and then just join it back in a circle with a slip stitch, and that makes this little, like a bobble. And then just cut your yarn and pull it through. So you're now left with 2 loops. You've got your starting thread and your ending thread. And if you just pop both of those on a needle, just bring them together so they're both the same length, and thread them through. Put it on the wrong side, there we go. And then just decide where you want to pop your decoration, and go through the chain like that, pull them through, and then just pick up on the other side there any of those stitches, just come back through it just to pull it so that it's wrapped around that chain, the surface chains that you did, and then just take the yarns back through onto the wrong side and fasten them off. That one's not gone through. I'll pop it through on its own. As I've said before, you can take your time on these parts and make them really neat, but at least you get the idea how that forms this little bobble around the chain stitches and makes it look like a little Christmas decoration on there. So you could put quite a few of those, different colours, different places, all around your tree. This was the first one I did, which I used just 20 stitches to start with, and I think it came out a bit too tall and thin, but still works okay. But this one I began with 25 stitches, and I think that one works better. It gives it a little bit more width at the bottom and a nice shape to it. This one, as I say, I left undecorated, so that's another idea there, to just leave them completely plain. Or you could perhaps add sequins to them, anything really. You could even, if you use them as a table decoration, you could probably pop a few sweets under there and just hide it. So lots of ideas, and I'm sure you'll think of some more. So whatever you get up to with them, happy crocheting and happy Christmas.